Hello, my name is Regina Wendler. I live in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I have been a Level 2 centered riding instructor since 2006. It's 2011 and this is my Level 3 application. Here is my riding portion, losing and regaining centered riding basics. Before all hands-on work, in the groundwork session and in the riding session, I had addressed with each of the students their comfort level and any physical ailments they may be having at the time before I had put my hands on them.
Okay. So that idea we're going to take to the horses too. So when we talk about grounding, right? So we're hitting on a lot of different things in that alignment. Again, here you are in sitting trot, and here you are in jumping position. Okay, so your back stays nice and long no matter what you're doing. Okay, it's the losing that alignment. Like Karen, you said your head comes out. So if your head comes out, something has to go back. Then my back got flat. My center came back, but I'm already behind the motion. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to play on the rail a little bit. We'll do it as partners, but for me to show you. So you put your feet on your bubbling spring, and what I want to see that you're able to do is feeling like you can breathe through that bubbling spring while you're going up and down. Maybe it's posting trot. And then you're going to go to 2-point Z, and how low can you go? Okay. So if your springs get tight, or you work on just jamming your heel, you're not going to be able to get down any lower. Okay, so it really gives you, and you can also do with having a partner. Ideally, eventually, you want to be able to do this without holding on to anything and be able to move and drop your center in balance, okay? But it's talking and trying to get that out, okay? Does that make sense? So what I want you to do first is find your balance. You're just going to hold the ring finger or a finger on your partner. And I want you to feel like you can go. So when in the way for us to receive our motion, the motion of the horse, right? When we go to jumping, the more our hip angle closes, the more your heel has to give. Because if I keep my heel down and I try to go down, my shoulders go down, my hip ankle's closing, but I've lost that alignment. Okay, so when you're moving and you go down, your heel has to give. It doesn't mean it doesn't go back down. But if you're concentrating on my heel has to stay down, you can't, your springs are, any joint that's locked down, any joint that's locked low, the joints above it get locked. Somewhat, okay? So it could be that my ankles don't move. If my ankle, now they're moving and I can go down, it's effortless, right? They have to move. But if my ankles just stay down, then when I go down, my knees aren't really moving anymore, and I'm having to do a lot more here. So when you go down, right, or when you're standing here, make sure that your center is soft, center is dropped, your joints are soft, okay? Can you hold less on her hands? Yeah, no, your arms can relax, and you center and relax also. There you go. If you can get the canner, you go ahead and switch. You started to feel that?
Yes.
So make sure you think about, that center, you being right over your center, nice and soft.
tapping that foot. Lift your leg. Let me lift it. There you go. Good. Okay? Okay. What does that feel like compared to the other leg? Yes, and I'm going to push your shoulder up a little bit with that little bit of wiggle. And then on your exhale, you can allow that to get longer. But remember, just like the stirrup supports your leg, your springs, I'm supporting your elbow. So with that idea, so you're going to follow the contact. So your knees, your ankles, and your hips are your shock absorbers for here. But your elbow is your shock absorber for your hands to be able to find that contact. And so you have to, if you have to throw the reins away or you're going to stretch him, you're going to follow. You're going to keep the contact and follow with him. Okay. Then if you need to take back, your elbow can take back. And it's always that idea that you would be using the back of your arm to push that contact. Okay? So let him find it and see if you can trot around with your hands up a little bit more. Yeah, right there. If you can have your elbows drop and be heavy, then your hands will line up and ahead of you. Okay, so whenever you're ready, just normal, toasting or sitting, whichever your back will allow. And if you find that with your hands up there, you need to shorten your reins a little, just so that you're closer to his mouth. So when you shorten your reins, it's not to take back to your body. You want to shorten your reins so that your hands are going to his mouth and your elbows are your shoulders and let him touch you, right? Okay, so what we've been talking about with your hands, right? About them sometimes being a little low. And so sometimes that's because of your back. But, that's fine to use at times. But what I want you to do is, just like we talked about your ankles, your knees, your hips being your shock absorbers for this, to save your back. We want to keep contact, right? But your elbow is your shock absorber to keep the contact. Okay, so let's say he's got unsteadiness. You're still going to keep contact on his mouth, but you're not going to be pulling back to you as much as your elbow is going to be staying with that contact. Does that make sense? Okay, so what I want you to do is take a nice deep breath in and keep your eyes closed, and then hold your hand under here. And actually, we'll do this with Blaze not. He can stretch his head right now. Okay, so keep that hand on the reins. Okay, so as I'm standing here, right, I'm going to push up into your elbow a little, right? I want you to, every time you exhale, you're going to let me hold your elbow. You don't need to push into your elbow. You just need to let it drop down, like you're dropping grains of sand. Okay, and I'm supporting you. I'm supporting your elbow. You're pretty strong. Okay. Are you comfortable with that? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good. And so when I push up, you don't have to come up against me. Relax with your long leg. That's better with your hands up there. So for you to follow the contact, your elbows just have, it's on the right leg. Are you protecting? Tapping with the stick. Good. Back to haunches out. Good. So haunches out is the same angle, same line track.